In the last years, I've been mainly preaching in Indonesia, Thailand, China, and Japan, and West Africa, and Israel, mainly. So I'm old-fashioned. I'm not a, so mainly except in China, we push for, the old-fashioned Harinam party, and it's very effective. And like say in West Africa recently, we had a good fortune of some financial help, so Harinam has been kind of an explosion. And one devotee wrote, like, new people are coming and old devotees are coming back, and all kinds of things happen because of that. And much more people come to the temple. There also we found, radio is very effective if we can get to radio time. One devotee does radio in a local language, and even people that live in England hear it and somehow, start writing and calling and becoming interested. So outreach, that's the main thing, and we do whatever we can. In Thailand, they've been in China, it's recently come to be yoga people and a lot of, Bhagavad Gita courses, even we call it, or kirtan festivals also, but Bhagavad Gita, where we're just teaching Bhagavad Gita. Very good response to that, as far as people attending. And if, of course, like any kind of thing, we don't get a huge percentage of people immediately surrendering everything, but internet preaching is also in China very effective. In Indonesia, book distribution in Harinam mainly has brought many, many people, devotees. People are Hindu anyway, but not very educated about Krishna. But when they read Bhagavad Gita, and then we do a lot of, mainly by that, and then by having temples where people can come. And we're doing more and more like Rath Yatra. Amazing how many Rath Yatras, I can't even keep up, And there's such people, they can make a new card everywhere. And that, that naturally attracts a lot of people. Prasadam distribution. But that's, that it works. We know that the public chanting of the holy name, sharing the holy name and talking one-on-one, meeting people, telling about Krishna, having a personal relationship in selling a book and whatever, and dealing with people, that's ultimately very effective. Big programs may, expose a lot of people, but until they personally meet devotees, they're not going to make a lot of, advancement. But we get publicity, we get well-known. Like, say, West Africa. In the early days, and before I went there, they did a lot of Harinam, and everybody knew Hare Krishna. Then for different reasons, economic crisis and harassment by the Christians and so-called Christians, they stopped, making a public exposure, and people didn't know. Now they're doing it. Now everywhere you go, people are saying Hare Krishna again. People are becoming aware, and any kind of book distribution. Different countries, of course, the effect is much different, but in West Africa, when we distribute more literature, we get a lot of response. People want to know more, especially just introductory type books. People start looking; they want more. So we haven't gone much beyond that. In Japan, things like radio, television, media, it's very, very difficult. Universities, practically, it just doesn't happen. But fortunately, they have freedom of religion, so we can chant publicly. We can distribute books, almost anywhere, and chant almost anywhere. So the more we do that, and personally inviting people again, we're getting more people coming. And then again, the yoga people are starting to invite devotees for kirtan. Even in Japan now, one couple that's very good kirtan, they're doing a, what do they call it, kirtan seminar, something like that. Basically, it's just kirtan. They just go and they have her name happens to be Yamuna, and she's a really good kirtan, and people just go wild, they love it. And they're getting invited more and more and more. In Bali, one group of kirtan people, they chant with the traditional music, Balinese instruments, and they've become super popular. They're being called to weddings and festivals around, because they're chanting Hare Krishna practically. That's all they chant, but they have that their dong dong ding ding, and they chant the melodies that everybody really knows, and people know Krishna, so they don't have an objection. But they're going all over the place. They're getting invited all over the place. So, the more ways we can just get the holy name out is, very, very, that's what I find to be the most effective. Same thing in Thailand. We just do a lot of Harinam, a lot of book distribution. People start to know us. We're not getting a huge amount of local people, but there's a Nepali community there coming forward. But they are, because they live there and they speak the language, they're able to get out and deal with the Thai people and give them books and make them familiar. So that's what we have to do. Then, of course, outreach means also you have to have some place to bring people in and reach out, and not just reach out and pat them on the back. So we have to have temples, we have to have, different kinds of programs, try to take care of people. So, we're starting that more and more. Bhakti Vriksha, Bhakti Shastri, letting people come and new devotees to study Bhagavad Gita, to really read it. And then Israel, same thing, just Harinam. It's everybody wonders, but everybody that does Harinam in Israel, from outside, they can't believe the response. So, they think, oh, that's a Jewish. And of course, not everywhere in Israel you could do that, but in Tel Aviv. And people respond, they join in, they dance. And the population there, of course, is 20 to 25% Russian. So we're getting so many Russians, but other devotees there that deal mostly with Israelis, they do like a India festival or something, and they sell all kinds of Indian goods, and they have prasadam, and they're getting a lot of people by that means. By selling Indian clothes and promoting like that. So, we're doing all these different things, but basically, at least my work is all just try to get Harinam book distribution, get more books, and then get the devotees, trained up to be able to deal personally with people, and meet people and actually share and, make friends. Not just take donations or something. To try to, the mentality is to try to make devotees. Every country is a little different. Like in China, we can't really just go out in the streets and chant, although they do a little bit. They can't do like, other countries. But they do to some extent in the park or something, just making music. People don't know what it is, but they like it. So that's, the main thing. we just encourage everybody, and at least myself, if anybody gets some kind of idea, they want to do it this way or that way, we say, yeah, do it. So in Israel, again, this is coming from Russia, but one devotee there, his name is Audoria Dam, I think. He has an internet thing, and he calls it a Sattva Club, and somehow he gets a lot of people, and then they organize these programs, and a lot of people come, and basically it's Kirtan and Prasadam and Bhagavad Gita, but they come for interest in culture and Ayurveda or whatever, and it's very, very effective. Another thing is, bringing people to India, tours. Some devotees are actually doing that, like almost as their profession. They make their living, and I'm trying to get the Japanese to start doing that. Just bring a group and, as a tour of India, and then they go to, but you bring them to Mayapur and Vrindavan and a few other places, and you have kirtan every day, and they become very happy. I just toured with one group from China like that. And we'll see what the real results are, but at least they loved kirtan. They all get Bhagavad Gitas. They do these Bhagavad Gita courses in China. People pay for it, everybody gets a Bhagavad Gita. So there's 50, 100 people. And they study it, at least for that time. They must, some people don't read it more, but they think about it all the time. Other people really get into it. So these things work, Prabhupada, the basic things Lord Chaitanya did, chant, and, Bhagavad, and Prabhupada, made sure everybody gets books. And then keep the devotees happy, so when the people do come to the temple, it's a very nice place. And have a really good prasadam, to give people. Like in Indonesia, somebody sponsors, and every Harinam they have, 10 kilos of cookies or something. And people are waiting, because it's different days, they're going different places, and people are just waiting to get their cake or cookie or whatever it is. So it makes a lot of friends. And then they're going to come closer and closer, they're going to buy books, they're going to, this is very important, many devotees, we have the results of prasadam distribution is an extremely important thing for out, to find different ways, whether it's a restaurant or just giving. Like when I joined, we always had Simply Wonderfuls on Harinam, and people always wanted to come and how did you make this? And, they would come to the temple just to find out how to make it. Then they would come back and say, well, I made it, but it didn't taste the same. Then we had to tell them, well, we offered to Krishna, that's the difference. And, so we can't even, these three things, Harinam, that's not the right word actually, it's supposed to be Nagar Sankirtan, but Harinam just means the holy name. But within ISKCON, Nagar Sankirtan means public chanting in the city, everybody chanting. And prasadam and books, those three things are very powerful. How to distribute them is different everywhere, and different devotees come up with different ingenious ways to do it. That's, Prabhupada always encouraged creativity, and, I remember one time they wanted to film two of the biggest book distributors and then tell everybody just do exactly what they do. Prabhupada said no. He said everybody has their own genius. You should encourage everybody to be their own person. And, that way when you meet people, they make a connection through you, and then they're looking, they meet a person, they make a friend, make friends with people, be friendly. How you do it, whether it's, television, whether it's internet, whether it's just going out on the street, whether it's door to door, that depends on the person and the place. But, we want to be personal. And depend on Lord Nityananda. We want to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. To effectively outreach, we have to have the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And he'll always give it. Anyone asks for it, he'll give it. Many of our plans are still in the making, but just recently in Bali they did quite a big thing for the Prabhupada's arrival in America. They took a Prabhupada Murti and they got a boat from one place and rowed to another place, and all the devotees were there to greet him, and it was quite big. They had, all because there's thousands of devotees there. Other places in my zone we're still working on plans. They're trying to get a Padayatra in West Africa. And of course Prabhupada came to Japan a few times, so we had to, try to honor that if we can catch the exact times. I'd like to make a book of his pastimes in Japan. I have to collect quick before all the people that were there are gone. But so we're working. It's more, work in progress. We don't have like big specific plans everywhere, but they do have committees, and they're working on, what to do to just, try to get all the devotees, because to do something and make big show, like, it's quite effective. At least the devotees get really enlivened. They become aware that, 50 years and the society is still going, and how it got started. So, there's been a lot of discussion of Prabhupada's pastimes, and especially the leaving India and that whole month, traveling to America and the arrival. At least classes were very much, around that subject. It's quite good. Because most of the devotees, maybe they haven't read all these diaries, they don't know everything. Even I gave one class in Vrindavan, and I mentioned, Prabhupada on the ship. He said it wasn't so bad. He had the owner's room, So, and one of my godsisters said, "Where did you get that?" And that's in the diary. But, like, we just keep coming up with more, an appreciation of what Prabhupada did, Because, like we're all saying now, I'm almost the same age as when Prabhupada left India. And, we'll hardly go for a japa walk without a phone in our pocket and money and credit card. And, somebody has to think they have to go with us to protect us or something. And Prabhupada just went off by himself with not even 1 rupee, not 1 penny, only the books and, complete faith in Krishna. So the more we can let people know about that, the more they can appreciate it. So we'll try to bring lots more people to India and, let them, from these countries, and let them see, Prabhupada's places. Because most places I am going, except Japan, he came a few times. Indonesia, Prabhupada came once, just to one city for a couple of days. Thailand, he never came. Singapore, they wouldn't let him in, But we still don't know why, but, so. But now his presence is quite prominent there, and no problem. So, they're all, every place is trying to do something. And if you can give us any, ideas, we're very glad to try to take it up. We do have time for the whole 10 years. It's the 50th anniversary of so many different things, right? So we'll try to get that movie on the television. We'll try to, do whatever we can. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.